On today's video, we're gonna go over every single commander that has an AOE skill. AOE meaning area of effect is a skill that allows you to hit multiple targets at the same time. We're gonna go over every commander that has AOE, talk about which ones are the best ones, the worst ones, which ones you should focus on, and how using AOE can actually give you massive value for free essentially. So stick around. If you enjoyed the video at any point, make sure you smash a like on it, and let's get on. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. In one of my streams, one of you folks asked me which commander has AOE, and turns out there are not 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, but 7 commanders in the game that have an area of effect skill. We're gonna go over each and every one of them and talk about which one I recommend you guys to focus on, which one is the king of them. Spoiler alert, YSG, no brainer right there, and I'll explain why in a moment. Let's go over these commanders and then show you how you can gain massive value out of these commanders. And so we're gonna start off with a big boy, Yi Seong-Gye. Yi Seong-Gye is the king of AOE. He's probably one of the best legendary commanders to focus on. He is one of the most versatile, best value bang for your buck, and probably most useful commander both in battle as well as PvE in general. The reason for that is that his skill starts off, his first skill starts off with a direct damage factor that is quite big, and hits to an enemy in a fan-shaped area. It deals up to 5 different targets damage, and once you expertise the commander, it's no longer a front-facing fan shape, but now it's a circular area around him with him in the center. And so you've seen YSG probably in every war video that I've had in the past couple of months, because he's been used everywhere to defend buildings, to attack, to do anything to stop swarms. He is the best AOE commander, and I think he should be one of your top priorities to expertise as a legendary commander. You'll get so much money out of him by simply hunting more barbarians, by killing more troops. He's straight up best bang for your buck in terms of a legendary commander. He's not the only legendary commander with AOE. Another a great example is SFLed, a brand new commander we got as of recently. She deals up to 5 enemies a forward-facing fan shape. Now, one thing that's important to point out, in here it says forward-facing fan shape, and in YSG it does not. And so there are possibilities in which YSG's fan will not be front-facing. It really depends on a few different things, but 90% of the time it will be, or it should be at least, used to be. And so a forward-facing fan with 5 targets being attacked. Unfortunately, the direct damage factor is not that fantastic, but the attack, defense, and health reductions do apply to all of them. And so you can actually reduce up to 30%, which I'm hiding with my camera, up to 30% attack, defense, and health to 5 targets. One of the most insane reducers in the game, our friend SFLed, who I have enough sculptures to level up again. What do you know? Very important as we're getting this extra damage and XP for barbarian hunting, which is what I use her for, so fantastic. I've actually wasted a few days worth of extra XP and damage. Another commander, legendary commander, that does have some sort of area of effect AOE is Hannibal Barca. Now, Hannibal Barca's skill initially is a single target skill, but once you expertise him, it becomes from a single target, then deals an additional damage to up to 3 targets in the forward facing in the forward facing direction, and on the next turn decreases damage of 3 targets by 25% and defense by 25% for 5 seconds. And so now, on top of the fact that it was supposed to hit 1 single target, it hits the single target plus hits another additional 3 targets. And so the problem with Hannibal is that to get his AOE, you have to expertise him. And so I do not recommend Hannibal for any type of AOE, unless you of course have him already expertise, and then why not throw him in the mix to get a little bit of XP and get more damage done. But if you're gonna invest in a commander specifically for AOE, this is not one to invest in. As a matter of fact, Hannibal is a fantastic commander, and we've seen a lot more use of him in the beginning of the game. But as more and more commanders start coming out, I don't necessarily know to tell you if expertising Hannibal Barca is indeed worth it anymore, or you should not spend that much on him, if at all. Now that there are so many different commanders that can do the same thing he does. The only cool thing about him really is the elephant animation, which is dope. Another commander that has AOE, very underrated, is Mehmed II. Mehmed's first skill hits with a forward-facing fan shape, a maximum of 5 targets for 1150 points with his first skill maxed. He is one of the best commanders out there for AOE, and the good news are you instantly get it right here. Unfortunately though, it doesn't change from a fan shape to a circular area like our friend YSG. But still, you can get that first skill unlocked pretty easily and maxed out from gold keys in the tavern, and you'll have one more commander that's good for AOE. So we have, as of right now, the king of AOE. We have, I guess, the queen kind of AOE, even though she's not really the queen because the damage is very small, is relatively small. It's even worse of a damage when it comes to Mr. Hannibal Barca. But again, 5 different marches can get hit by Mehmed with a really good amount of damage. Really good amount of damage. These are your legendary commanders with AOE. Now let's go towards the epic ones. We'll start off with the guy I think is one of the top epic commanders you should be working on. I've talked about it in a previous video. I'll leave you a card up top for that. He is the best infantry commander when it comes to epics, and so maxing him is actually double the value. Not only because you are gaining AOE out of him, but he's also one of the better infantry commanders to have on the battlefield as well as on your wall, defending your wall. His AOE right here is up to 5 targets, damage factor of 800, which is not the best, but it's okay. Up to 5 targets, not 3. In a fan-shaped area, it doesn't say forward-facing, but you usually end up with a forward-facing fan. Now, Sun Tzu gains an additional 50 rage for each target hit by this skill. This is the most important part of this skill. The reason for that is you can gain massive rage regeneration by hitting 5 targets every single time. And so, if you see a big brawl on the battlefield, it could be beneficial to send the Sun Tzu as a maybe first or secondary commander out there to kind of get in the mix. Because if you can get him with someone who does a lot of skill damage, and you can get him to consistently cast skills and consistently hit 5 people and gain that rage, he can be very OP. Now, there are 2 more commanders on the epic side that are commanders that have AOE. And the good thing about them is that they're actually not infantry commanders, but they are cavalry and rage. That is right. Our next commander is Baybars. Baybars' first skill deals a good amount of damage to enemies in a forward-facing fan, up to 5 different targets, and it reduces the current target's march speed by 50% for up to 2 seconds. 5 targets taking 1000 damage by an epic commander is quite significant, and as a cavalry commander, he is, in my book, the second best cavalry commander there is that you should be working on, with Pelagius being the first, in my opinion, as of right now. But he's definitely one you need to keep your eye on. And if you go back to that video I referred to earlier about the top 5 commanders that I think you should focus on early on, he would be my number 6. He's the one that barely didn't make the cut. Finally, we have his counterpart in the range department, Kusunoki. Kusunoki hits up to 3 targets with a very poor 250 damage. Yes, his AOE is not fantastic. I would not even bother with him for AOE. But just wanted to let you guys know he's out there, exists, and useful. Kinda. Not really. So how can you use this AOE to get a lot more bang for your buck? Your explanation is right in here. What I've been doing is I've been hunting Marauders, and I've been hunting a lot of these Barbarians because there's an event going on, and as much as I'd like to do the pre-KVK stuff, not too worried about that. But the event I am worried about. I do want to hit that level 25. Now, you will see more often than not, maybe not in this kingdom because a lot of people have been hunting, but you'll see something like this. You'll see chunks of Barbarians and Marauders mixed up. And when you send, you know which commanders are the AOE commanders. What you can do, and is something that I did, is to make sure that you have at least 3 of them on the battlefield out of the 5 marches you're using to hunt. And so you can see I have 1 march with Sun Tzu, 1 march with SFLed, and 1 march with YSG. Every single time I run into something like this, I see some sort of AOE result. Maybe in this specific test we're gonna do, it's not gonna work, but more often than not, I'm seeing results in which we are gaining freebies by simply being located next to Barbarians and hitting the 1 Barbarian and hoping for the best. Now, I don't believe that we're gonna get anything out of this march specifically, as this guy is going way too far, and I see my YSG went all the way this way, and so we're not gonna gain anything out of this specific hit. But if you want to actually make sure you're gaining as much as you can out of it, try to find Barbarians that are in a clump and then go after those, and you will see that at least one of your marches will end up hitting something nearby. And when that happens, that is free everything for no AP. It's an extra Barbarian for free. An extra Barbarian for free means extra XP, extra potential gems, extra resources, extra everything that comes with killing a Barbarian without spending the AP. And so I think that if you're looking at which commanders you should max out first for AOE, you should obviously focus on YSG as the king. No doubt, nobody can take that crown away from him. But from there, if you're trying to max some epics and you're focusing on AOE, I would start with Sun Tzu, and then from there go towards Baybars. And once you're done with that, forget about Kusunoki. He's really not worth your time. But the cool thing is, SFLed is a commander that once you get your expeditions done a little bit, and you start getting those free expeditions, by the way, Sunset Canyon available, very fun. We're gonna make a video about that very soon. But once you hit your expeditions to a deeper level and start getting 3 stars on these new middle level 71, 72 type of expeditions, you'll end up getting a bunch of these Treasure of the Warrior Queen every day. I get about 12 a day now. And from there, you'll get a good amount of SFLed sculptures, which you can then, of course, use to max her. And the higher you bring her, the higher level you bring her, the more efficient you'll be, although only the first skill is all you need for AOE. So we have a little bit of a clump here. Let's see if we can get any AOE value. I could intentionally target some of these targets in a specific way to cast and get AOE value. You can see right there, we did get AOE value out of a cast that YSG did last minute, and we picked up a free Barbarian. Now, there are techniques to be able to make your AOE work better. If you guys want me to make a video about that, leave me a comment down below. I've seen so many of them that I didn't know if I should make one or not. But if you want me to, I will definitely make a video about how to drag all these Barbarians on the map and how to get Barbarians closer to each other to guarantee yourself profit out of your AOE. You can see right here that we have 2 pretty close targets. If this guy doesn't get out, I actually caught him with the skill. It was a 1-shot hit, and this guy got out barely in time. So I'm not saying that this is how you should be hunting with AOE. What I'm saying is, if you are hunting, and you are hunting right now, and you are hunting a lot in Lost Kingdom, it is very profitable to know which commanders you could and should send out there to hunt in order to potentially gain some free kills or even some free damage on a Barbarian, Marauder, or whatever it is without spending the AP. Did you guys know about every commander that had AOE? Which one of the list you didn't know about? Leave me a comment down below. And of course, if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and it opened your eyes about a few of these commanders. My way of using these commanders is I've been leveling them up while sending peacekeepers at the front, and so it really, I gain as much as I can out of it. Peacekeeping value, AOE value, peacekeeping and AOE value, peacekeeping AOE value. And so the more of these things you incorporate into your day-to-day and you understand better, the more better decisions you can make about your hunt and about how you utilize these commanders to really squeeze as much as you can out of the game for less of an investment. Thank you guys very much for being here. Thank you again for all your continued support. I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Peace.